Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Healthy, Wealthy, and Smart podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Karen Litzy, owner of Karen Litzy Physical Therapy, located in the heart of New York City. And today we are going to be talking about aging. It is a hot topic. I feel like I'm hearing about aging and reading about aging everywhere. And as we'll talk as we go through this podcast, is probably because I'm at the point where I'm kind of worried about my aging. So I'm really happy to have as my guest Dr. Mani Kukreja. She is an integrative health and wellness expert, founder and CEO of the practice Livagewell, helping her clients to optimize their overall health and aging. She is also a health, wellness, and lifestyle influencer, biohacker, and health advocate to bio-optimize for living a balanced and sustainable life. So, Dr. Mani, welcome to the podcast. Happy to have you on.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so before we get into talking about aging, our hot topic of the moment, can you give the listeners a little bit more on your background and how you became so invested in this topic?
So, like you gave my introduction, I'm an integrative health and wellness expert. So, I'm founder of the practice Livagewell, where I help my clients to basically reset their health in every aspect, whether it is gut, skin, immune health, or metabolic health, in every aspect, so that they can live up to their full potential. So, I am, basically educated as a conventional medicine, as an MD, and but my question, I always wanted to study basically the prevention of the disease and progression and prevention of the disease. So after getting my MD education, I just did not like like how we were taught in our medical protocol to basically treat the symptoms with the bandage approach, with the help of pharmaceuticals. But that's not what I was interested in. I was always interested to basically stop the disease or basically take care of the root cause of the disease. And that's why I went ahead and invested my time in educating myself with master's public health. I did double major in clinical research and epidemiology from Tulane University, where I got a pretty good knowledge of the disease as such, not the treatment side, but the prevention side.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I myself suffered from Hashimoto's autoimmune thyroiditis. And it was to an extent that, I had symptoms, they were so vague, but they were pretty intense, And I went to the experts, doctors, my friends, many people, all physicians around me, wherever I could. And nothing. I mean, there was no treatment and there was no solid answer to my issues. So I read about it. I did extensive research on it and figured out that, the holistic approach is the only treatment, is the only cure for it. I mean, you cannot treat autoimmune disease. It's just inbuilt in you. It's in your
Right.
genes. You have antibodies for particular antigens and you can't do anything about it. The only thing you can do is to basically improve and take care of certain lifestyle factors, your diet, your hygiene, your exercise, and all those lifestyle factors you can incorporate in your lifestyle, and holistically you can manage this disease. And I had been able to successfully manage my own problems. And so I've been in remission now for almost half a decade, which is really good. Which kind of just, I was confident that, okay, there are so many problems that can be actually just managed. There are so many diseases of aging. There are so many chronic diseases where you can take control and you can actually prevent them. If not reverse, I mean, you can reverse them as well, but if not reverse, at least, you can put a little slow kind of a speed on them so that you don't progress with that speed rather than just getting extensive treatment in hospitals,
Mm-hmm. Right.
So when I did this, and at the same time, my father suffered from complications of chronic diabetes mellitus. And I saw a very, steep decline in his health. At the same time, I went ahead and I had finished my master's. So I was doing clinical research pretty aggressively. And what I learned when I was doing this clinical research, when I looked at the data and I was studying more and more all these research aspects, what I learned that, when disease happens, the progression is so steep, it deteriorates so badly, so steeply, that if you don't have interventions, if you don't have enough knowledge and tools to control it, it's going to go out of your control. And then finally you succumb. So, after studying clinical research, understanding all these factors, I again invested my time and my education trying to study the holistic side of functional nutrition. I did study in functional living and holistic nutrition from Cornell University and IIN. And when I understood and I had the whole amalgamation of this knowledge, which was traditional medicine, holistic medicine, and the prevention side of the medicine, then I launched my own practice called Livagewell, where I now basically it's more like a virtual consultation where my patients and clients, if they have any problem of that sort, I help them to optimize their health.
Perfect. And I notice you use the word holistic a lot. So I want to get your definition of that because, some people may hear holistic and do like an eye roll or, which I'm sure you've seen, or they think it's too woo-woo, it's too out there. So when you're talking, because I know what my definition of holistic is. So I'll just say for me, it's like including things like lifestyle changes, diet, movement, exercise, looking at your overall nutritional intake, right? So from your end of it, when you say the word holistic, or if someone calls you and says, what do you mean by holistic? What is your answer?
I totally get your point, Karen. It's a very good question. It's such a basic term, but still very complicated to explain. Holistic, by definition, mean whole you. That means, and some people say, like, if you are practicing Ayurveda or, Woo practice and Chinese and herbal, then it is holistic. No, definitely not. That's all different side of alternative medicine. But holistic means it's whole you, like means that you're basically just making certain changes in you and your body in order to basically optimize your health. So holistic means that without the help of medication, it's only you who is taking control of the health.
Got it. Got it. Excellent definition. Okay, so now let's talk about aging. Okay, so I don't have to tell you, I don't have to tell my listeners. The aging world is probably a multi-billion-dollar industry, right? So many products and supplements and advice that goes into how can we not age, basically. So what is aging from your perspective, and can we have any control over it?
It's such a multi-million-dollar question, such an important question, and everybody wants an answer to that, right? Aging is a complex term. It's very difficult to define in one single sentence. But still, I'll try my best to basically incorporate every aspect of the explanation. So, aging is a progressive decline of every single biological function in your body at each level, at cellular level, molecular level, genetic level, organ level, system level. And that all leads to increased in the risk of disease. And thus, it decreases your lifespan. So you see, there are three components. One is declination or decline in biological function, which increases the risk of all age-related diseases. That is, all metabolic diseases and chronic diseases like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, obesity. And then when that happens, it basically reduces or declines your lifespan, reduce your lifespan. So those are the three different stages or three different points that we can combine and form a definition of aging.
Mm-hmm.
Long back, I mean, now there have been several theories. I mean, so this is all about the definition, but physical manifestation to general laymen, I mean, general overall audience and public, how do they define, how do they know that we are aging? The physical manifestation is wrinkled skin, graying of hair, frailty, loss of muscle mass, bone mass is lost, reduced, and forgetfulness, and you have diminished vision, you have lack of hearing. So all that together, when those different kind of symptoms happen, people know that they're aging. That's just a physical manifestation.
Fair. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the when I was researching for the book that I'm writing on aging, the more and more I studied aging. So aging, just like how we defined it, but it's aging is not fatal. Aging is not fatal, definitely. The more and more research that I did, I studied papers and all the research. I came to the conclusion that it's not fatal. It's not the aging that kills you or makes you dead. It's the age-related complications, which are age-related diseases, which kind of just decline your overall health. So many people ask that, can you reverse it? Aging, some people say it's not reversible. It's inevitable. It's got to happen to everybody, and I agree with it. I mean, you are a whole machinery. You keep on working, and you got to be declining with time. But there are these age-related biomarkers, biological biomarkers, which you can really improve if you take care of few things in your life. For example, stress, mental stress. If you remove mental stress out of your life, from your surrounding environment, if you have a bad relationship, get out of it, remove day-to-day mental stress out of the body. If you get rid of all the toxins which are around you, environmental toxins, which kind of just accelerates your rate of aging.
Right.
If you do all that, and if you are taking care of your diet, if you're adding antioxidants in your diet, all these kind of different interventions, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more in detail later. All the interventions actually improve your biological markers of aging, like your blood pressure can improve.
Sure.
Your eyesight can get better, your hearing can get better, your hormonal levels can be better if you take care of all those factors. So these all things that I talked about, they're called biological markers. If they all can improve, it means that you can still improve your rate of aging, your speed of aging.
Sure,
and that's
sure.
how you fight with it. I mean, there had been few theories. Theory number one, which was long back, many decades ago, they said like, okay, aging is inevitable. It's got to happen because it's genetically coded in your genes, in your cells. That's it. But then, because of more and more research and more evolution, many scientists proved that no, that's not the only thing. There are many more options and many more theories that aging is because of your lifestyle factors, like poor hygiene, lack of nutrient-rich diet, and lack of exercise. And others said that it is also because of environmental toxins. There are two kinds of toxins. One is mental stress. The other toxins are the physical toxins, like heavy metals present in water, UV radiations as such, present in X-rays and all that. And then, these bad chemicals like phthalates and parabens present in cosmetics and your makeup and skincare, and mercury present in your dental procedures, when they do the amalgam cavities, and all these heavy metals like cadmium, arsenic, which is present in tap water.
Sure.
So all these bad toxins all around you, they actually cause DNA damage. And because of the DNA damage, it causes all oncogenic environment around the tissues and the cell, which makes you more susceptible to have cancer-related diseases,
Right.
So we have three factors. One is, okay, genetic, that, human was born. When you've done your purpose in life, that is reproduction, after that you start to decline. That was genetic theory. And then we had lifestyle theory, and then we had environmental toxins theory. But the good news is that genetic is contributed only 20% of all this facade that we are talking about. 80% is all lifestyle and environmental. So that means we have a lot in our own control. I mean, genetic is not in our control. That is only very minor,
Of course.
which is 20%. 80% major chunk is in our control to basically control how we live our life and optimize our health,
Right. And that is the hard part, right? Because because sometimes you can't control where you live, right? So you may live in an area where perhaps there are more chemicals in that area, depending on factories. I think isn't there like a stretch in Louisiana, I think, called like Cancer Alley or something like that, because of all of the industries there and dumping into waters and ruining the environment. And then on the flip side, we have blue zones where people are living way longer than the average, right? So it's like, how do you, if as an individual, if you can't, maybe you can't control where you live, right? But you can certainly control some of the other things that you've mentioned: stress, diet, movement, exercise, things like that, right? So I guess the question is like, you kind of want to give people some hope, but if they don't have the ability to move out of an area where the environment's not great, or they don't have the resources to get fresh fruits and vegetables, like, what are some options? What do you tell clients or patients of yours if they're in that kind of situation?
There are some situations that you cannot control, especially like if you're living and you've been living, your family is there, or maybe the resources problem. But there's a lot on your personal level that you can do. I say, okay, for example, let's take an example of diet and nutrient. We know, okay, we got to be eating clean, organic is our choice, and diverse food is our choice. That's fine. But there are many people who cannot afford all that, right? Everybody just can't go to Whole Foods and be buying the organic stuff,
Right.
Then you got to be equipped with the knowledge of, that dirty dozen. And that concept, that what I'm talking about is that, what food that is really bad, that if you take not organic, that can really harm you, and what is the other food that you can still manage being inorganic and you can still manage. So you got to know that knowledge. You got to be knowing all those tools. You got to know that, okay, I am trying to consume everything possible, which is highly nutrient dense, but still I feel that I see these deficiencies. And how can I, so then there are supplementation, which are not medication. I mean, they're just the low-hanging fruit that we all can access to without much hurdle. We don't need to be going and sitting in a doctor's office. If you are equipped with enough experience, knowledge, and information all around you, you can manipulate a lot of stuff. You got to be making your own right choices. Then you got to be making right choices for supplements. Do a lot of research when you're consuming any supplements. Just don't get carried away with whatever information is provided to you on internet or on social media, right? I mean, just do extensive research. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to call myself compulsive when it comes to information, but I'm very data driven, Karen, and I would like people to be like, I mean, if you're not reading data, it's okay, but at least do extensive research about the brand, about the ingredients, and look at the label. How is it made? What kind of environment it's made, and what purpose does it serve?
Yeah.
So when you know that, and then definitely there are so many other lifestyle factors like, photomodulation, red light therapy, heat and cold exposure, intermittent fasting, and then peptide therapy, PRPs, and hormone therapy. You can incorporate a lot of those in your daily lifestyle. You can actually consult with a functional medicine doctor And and this is what I call holistic approach. It's a
Right.
functional approach, but I call it holistic approach because you're not straight away falling victim of a disease and getting the treatment for cancer or for diabetes or for cardiovascular disease. You're
Mm-hmm.
basically trying to control your own health before even having those disease rooted in your body.
Right.
So that's what we call it holistic approach. So I think knowledge, awareness, information are
Right.
the three very big tools to tighter a lot of information around you and see what's good for you. I mean, and why should you not know this? Why I
Sure.
think
Sure.
even if you're a teenager, if you're 50-year-old or 70-year-old, it's your body. It's the
Mm-hmm.
most precious thing. Your health is most precious. You should be equipped with every single minute particle of knowledge about yourself, about your body, and what you need to supplement to your body in order for it to be functioning optimally.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you mentioned on the supplements, like read the labels, where are they made, how are they made? And I remember I was just reading a post the other day about it was like a specific supplement, and it was a doctor talking about this supplement that claimed to literally do everything to correct menopause. It evens your hormones, it stops this, and it was just a supplement. And the doctor said, if you're looking at a product that maybe is popping up on your social media or something, and it claims to literally do everything and correct everything, you might want to give that a second look because I
Yeah,
see you shaking your head. You're like, no,
yeah,
like there's
no,
no one supplement that does
completely.
everything and cures everything. I think it
Yeah,
it had claimed to like stop brain fog, um lose weight, every like all the common premenopausal menopausal symptoms. It fixed all of them.
yeah, no, that cannot be just possible. It's totally trash stuff then, because I believe that every supplement has its very own functioning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about that. But, and when you kind of just it cannot be possible that one single supplement basically try to optimize every aspect,
Right,
not
right,
possible. And
right.
then also at the same time, I don't see any supplement. I mean, I'm not in the manufacturing industry, but I don't see any one brand that can mix and amalgamate almost 10 or 12 supplements together to make one and serve as one wholesome supplement. That's
Right,
just not possible,
right,
because all these supplements, all these minerals and vitamins, when they are kind of just mixed together in hodgepodge, it cannot just serve its function.
right, right.
Yeah.
And the other thing said is watch out for supplements that have a proprietary
Mhm.
mix
Yeah, yeah,
because
watch out for that.
you don't even know what it is.
We do not know what the proprietary mix is. It's
Right,
not
right.
explained. Yeah,
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 not acceptable, not good.
yes,
Um,
yeah.
one more question on, and I love all, first of all, I just want to say that I do love all of your approach that you take in the environment around the patient, what they're eating, and how they can affect one or all parts. What is your thought on frozen, let's say frozen fruits and vegetables? So if there are people who are in, a food desert, of which there are a lot in this, so we're in the United States, a lot in this country. What is your opinion on frozen fruits and vegetables, if that's kind of some of the only fruits and vegetables people can get their hands on?
I think the first approach should be always fresh,
Mm-hmm.
but if due to any reason it's not possible to just keep fresh fruits in your arsenal, then frozen is not a bad idea. I mean, the bottom line is to basically get nutrients.
Right.
And I think the frozen food, any kind of either, even if they're vegetables and fruit, they have easily shelf life of 3 to 4 months. So they are good enough. So always, I mean, if you first of all, fresh food. If not possible because of any reason, then go for frozen food, because you need to basically fill in the gaps for those deficiencies in the
Right.
nutrient, in that whole cycle. But if you're doing that, always read the dates. Dates are always very important because
Okay.
if I am doing this, I will always look for that. If I have bought this and open it, I would like to consume it within like 3 months, because after 2 to 3 months, they kind of just lose their potency.
Oh, good to know. Let's see. I'm thinking about what's in my freezer. No, I think I'm okay. I'm like, wait, what's in my freezer? Um,
Yeah.
great advice. Thank you so much. Now I want to talk about this concept of reducing your biological age, right? So let's say you're in your late 40s or 50s. Is it possible to have a biological age that's maybe in your 30s? And what exactly does that mean? Because I'm sure people see that online. So can you explain what that means?
Absolutely. And it's absolutely possible to basically reduce your biological age to 30s if your chronological age is around 40 or 45 or more. Chronological age is just the age in numbers that's counted from your birth certificate. And biological age is those big parameters of health indication, those biological markers, like I mentioned. When those markers are basically sitting in the most perfect spot. I'm just trying to form a definition.
Yeah.
When inside your body, they are doing the function which is most appropriate to be doing something that had been going on in the 30-year-old body, then your biological age is basically detected or dictated as 30-year-old. For example, I was fascinated to see my biological age. I mean, I don't want to brag about it, but I am 51, and my biological age done through glycanage. They kind of just they take a little drop of your blood and measure your different markers, and
Mhm.
that indicates that your body system, how your immunity, how your inflammation in the body, how your oxidation level, and all that. Based on all those detection of those parameters, they have their own way to detect. They have the whole algorithm, and they calculate your biological age. But I mean, I'm not a biological age scientist, so I won't be able to know what are those parameters or
Mhm.
algorithm. But on a scientific and medical terms, what I can tell you in a very simple definition, which I'm forming right now in my mind and speaking out, for people to know that biological age if I am biological age 30, that means my body has every perfect parameter which act like a 30-year-old other woman.
Mhm.
That's why my biological age is 30, even though I am 51. So my body inside is acting like a 30-year-old body.
Okay, so how can we get that?
Yeah.
That's the big question, right? That's what
That's the big
everybody's going to
question.
want to know is, okay, that sounds great. How can I do that for myself?
Yeah, that's a very big question, and again, it's a precious question actually. And the answer to that is that I'll first tell you what exactly goes on in our body
Mhm.
every day to day. We were born, we are living, we are doing our day-to-day activity, our regular, right? What really goes on in my body or your body or everybody's body that we start to decline with age? So there are three processes that are going on in our body. One is oxidation, second is inflammation, and third is detoxification. So now, as you age, with age, your oxidation increases, your inflammation increases, and your ability to detoxify decreases. So all these are the three bad things these are the three processes that are happening in your body, which are increasing your speed of aging. And not only that, it is also increasing the risk of age-related diseases. So, and I'll tell you not really every, but I'll tell you many more solutions, how to control all these things so that your biological age is improved or better.
And
I'll come to the solution later. Yeah.
so before we get to that, I think most people understand the concept of inflammation, right?
Right.
We kind of get
Mhm.
that. Could you explain what oxidation is, just for people who may not know what that's referring to when
Sure.
it deals with the body?
And I think that's the most important process to understand. And it is the primary process. Oxidation even occurs before inflammation. So what happens is, like, we are nothing but bunch of 37 trillion cells. All right. Every single cell in our body has 20,000 genes. It's a complicated system. We just call our bodies a simple human body, but it's very complicated. It's doing quite a high level of work. So with so many cells, every cell is constantly functioning, is constantly dividing, it's growing, and then when it has served its purpose, it wears and tears, and then it dies, and then your body clear it off from body, and that's called apoptosis. And that means taking your dead and old cells out of the body, senile and senescent cells out of the body. This is the normal process that goes on throughout the process of cell functioning. This is called cellular functioning. Now, what happens is so many cells. So, I mean, this is called biochemical reactions, right? All this stuff that I just mentioned. So all these biochemical reactions are going, and if, like, all of us know, who all know physiology and physics, whenever there are biochemical or bioelectrical processes going on, there's a lot of waste product.
Right.
And that waste product is produced again in our body as well. And that is called ROS, reactive oxygen species. So that byproduct, which is produced as a result of every cellular function, is called ROS, or reactive oxygen species. So there are two things. One is called endogenous ROS, exogenous ROS. So what we just talked about is endogenous ROS. So your body is functioning, producing so much byproduct, which is all getting collected in the body. And, at one time of your life, at one point of your life, so much collection obviously leads to the insult or damage, right, at the cellular level, which we call oxidation. This damage is called oxidation. And then at the same time, exogenous ROS are produced in the body because of exogenous factors. Again, radiations, sun exposure, UV radiation, toxins in the environments, like all the toxins that we talked about. Those are the trigger factors to be causing ROS and its collection exogenously. So endogenous and exogenous. But when this burden of ROS accumulates to a level that it is hard for your body to control it and to flush it out, then that damage, which is called oxidation, that happens in the body. And whenever there is a damage in the tissue, there is an oxidation, and its oxidative byproducts are, kind of collected around the cells in the tissue, it causes DNA damage. And that is when your body gets more prone for oncogenic mutations. You're more prone and you're more susceptible to be getting the cancer and cancer-related diseases.
Got it.
And then whenever around your surrounding, we have so much byproducts and waste, bad material and oxidation, your pro-inflammatory cells are produced from your immune system, and they causes inflammation. Inflammation, for some time, it's called acute, but any inflammation just constantly happening for a longer time, for a chronic time, for chronic amount of duration, it causes chronic inflammation. And then this chronic inflammation is the basic cause of any age-related diseases. It's the basic cause of all the metabolic diseases of your health, like cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cardiovascular, obesity, and all those kind of diseases. So we talked about oxidation, we talked about inflammation. So first happens oxidation, then happens inflammation, and then happens this. Your body cannot just efficiently detoxify these toxins out of the body. And the reason for that is, one, is your body is out of whack already. There's so much toxins produced that your general ability to clarify that toxin is just overloaded. Your body is overloaded with toxin. Plus also, with aging, our ability to detoxify is also reduced.
Right.
And why?
Is that like from your liver or from your kidney function, or where does that?
Yes. Yeah. Because with age, your liver starts to decline, your kidney starts to decline. Plus, if you have indulged in any of those activities like alcohol consumption, smoking, and your environment was bad. So all because of liver and kidney and your skin, which are the main detoxifiers of your body. And then also this main system, which is called lymphatic systems in the body, which is the most potent detoxifier. This lymphatic systems has those lysosomes enzymes, and these lysosome enzymes also get affected because of inflammation and oxidation.
Yep.
And because they're affected, they're reduced in number as well as their functioning. And when they cannot do their function, your body is not able to detoxify. Your body is not able to get the toxins out of your body, and also all those old senile senescent cells keep sitting in your body. They're not ready to go out of your body, and that whole huge facade called basically that all causes nothing but acceleration of the speed of aging.
Right. Those pro-inflammatory markers are just in like such a great environment to continue to thrive and produce.
Exactly.
And the anti-inflammatory markers just don't, whether it be like neuropeptides and they just don't have the ability to overcome their own environment.
Absolutely.
And because I work with a lot of people with chronic pain, and it's the same. It's the same. What you just described is what happens in people with chronic conditions like chronic regional pain syndrome or phantom limb pain. It's just this cycle of inflammation, and then that information goes up into, I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but into the spinal cord, up into the brain, and there's this constant danger signal. Right. And so then that causes increased stress, and then you don't want to move. And now you've got what you're describing is an even bigger picture of disability, let's say.
Yeah. It's the whole cycle, basically.
Yeah. And okay. So thank you for that. That's like, what an education. So hopefully people listening are taking notes, because that was great. So now let's talk about some of those factors that you were mentioning before that can help us change that internal environment and give us a better chance as we age.
Definitely. And also that would be an answer to your question, how to reduce our biological age.
Yes, exactly.
So, Karen, this is very interesting. And I feel, it's a lot, but I'll try to describe in as brief as possible. So there are many solutions or tools that you can acquire in order to compensate for all those either losses of, okay, I'll not go into it. I'll straight away go with the solution. So first of all, I think the most important is your food first approach, right? I mean, for a human being, nothing is more important than food and sleep, right? So food and nutrition, I mean, we all are sustaining, we all are living because of the food and because of the nutrition, which is most appropriate for our body. And, it does its work to provide us the energy. So if you are providing your body the clean food and nutrient-rich food, you've already done half of the work, right? And then obviously second one is sleep. We'll talk about that later. But in food, obviously try to consume organic, clean. If not organic, definitely clean and diverse food. 100% try to avoid, these carbs, right? The bad and processed carbs, and then sugar and trans fat. Don't consume any oil or seed oil or any oil. Basically, that's like, there's a trick to remember all this vegetable oil that starts with S: sunflower oil, safflower oil, canola oil, corn oil. All these seed oils are really bad because they are pro-inflammatory. They cause a lot of
olive oil is okay.
So yeah, two oils, that is olive oil and avocado oil. Are,
yes.
Yeah, those two are very good.
So basically stick with the vowels when it comes to oils.
Basically stick with the vowels. Yes.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
Right. and anything starting with the S or seed oil, safflower, sunflower, or those oils are really bad and pro-inflammatory. They have a lot of rich content of omega-6 fatty acids, and omega-6 fatty acid is bad for you, right? All right. So food approach. Second, sleep is utmost important. It is non-negotiable. Totally.
Yes.
You got to have 7 to 8 hours of sleep. There have been so many studies that has been done in the past that have solid data that if you do not sleep for 7 to 8 hours, your all-cause mortality increases, your immunity is reduced, and your insulin resistance is increased. That means you're more prone for diabetes mellitus. So there was a study they did, people who only slept for 4 hours and other control group who slept for 7 to 8 hours. When they tried to compare, there was a 2 times increase in the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia.
Oh, wow.
Because sleep is so important to basically, during sleep, during the especially deep sleep phase, which is a recovery and which is a deep restorative sleep phase, you kind of just clear out all these bad toxins. You clear out the beta amyloid protein. And we all know that beta amyloid protein, when it accumulates and collects in CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, that is an indication of Alzheimer's disease. So basically, this, like I talked about lymphatic system, there's a same detoxifying system in our brain, in our CS, cerebrospinal fluid, and it is called glymphatic system, GLY, glymphatic system, GLYMPHATIC, and that's a detoxifying system in your CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, which gets rid of all these beta amyloid proteins. So that happens during the deep and restorative sleep.
Right,
so sleep is so important for basically, it helps to reduce depression. It helps to improve the cognition. It helps to overall increase your immunity. Recently, I was just studying. There was a study from National Health Survey that people, again, it was comparing cases versus control. Cases, subjects who slept for around 4 hours only versus subjects who slept for 7 to 8 hours every night. The stem cell activity was reduced in people who slept for only 4 to 5 hours every night. So you see, I mean, and you all know, I mean, we all know that stem cell activity, stem cell functioning, stem cell regeneration is so important in order to basically compensate for all the old and dying cells of our systems and organs. Our stem cells go into action and regenerate more cells up there. So, I mean, study after study, solid data, everything signifies that bad sleep, poor sleep hygiene is totally bad for your health. You're increasing your all-cause mortality. If even for 1 week you sleep less, within a week you develop basically insulin resistance, and you are actually prone for diabetes because you already go into the state of pre-diabetes just in 1 week of sleep, 1 week of lack of sleep.
Oh, boy.
And how we define lack of sleep, insufficient sleep is basically sleeping for only 4 to 5 hours, or next day you're basically taking daytime naps, or you're taking 30 minutes or more as your latency period in order to go to sleep. Like you're on the bed, you're trying to get to sleep. That latency period is defined as the time when you have started to initiate all the way till sleep.
Till you sleep. Okay.
Yeah. So 30 minutes or more of latency period, more daytime naps, and 4 hours or 5 hours of sleep. All these three factors together, that is how you define the insufficient sleep. And it's one of the worst things that you can do.
Yeah, clearly. And it's always annoyed me when people sort of wear that I only need 5 hours of sleep a night and I'm perfectly functional. Because I always think, oh God, I need like 7 just to be functional. And then you think, is there something wrong with me that I need 7, whereas someone only needs 5? You know how people kind of wear that as like this, like I said, this badge of honor that they don't have to sleep very long. So now we know it's not a good idea.
Not a good idea, even if they say it and they do it. But how long can you? I
How
mean,
long
it's
can
not
that
sustainable.
last? Yeah, yeah,
Cannot
exactly.
last longer. It's not sustainable because after 2 or 3 months, you are basically, you'll start to see the symptoms of diseases,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You need to sleep. Yeah,
Oh
totally
yeah.
non-negotiable. And then there are some other, I mean, definitely exercise is very, very
Mm-hmm.
important. I mean, we all know that those are important, most foundational pillars of health
Mm-hmm.
and aging. Exercise, utmost important. It is the elixir of youth, basically. That's how I define it.
Right.
Because, I mean, you got to move your body, because if you're sedentary, basically that increases your all-cause mortality,
Mm-hmm.
increases your chances of cancer, cardiovascular disease,
Right.
all those bad diseases. And plus also, I mean, you got to be moving because you got to be building your muscles for
Mm-hmm.
strength.
Mm-hmm.
As we age, especially after the age of 40 years, every decade we are losing 5 to 8% of muscle
Yep.
loss. You
Yep.
know,
And then when
so
you hit
that's
70, it's even more.
it's even more, it's
Yeah.
double. So when you are declining your muscle strength and loss with such a steep loss, I mean, you got to be doing something about it.
Yeah.
So just move. I mean, I know there are some clients that's like, okay, we like to be sedentary, or there is some problem they cannot. But I think for every human body there has to be certain level of exercise that
Mm-hmm.
you are able to do. I mean, if you just sit on the sofa, couch, just move, walk. Once you've started walking, then start to basically walk at a faster speed,
Right.
then jog, then run. And then after you have done that, then you decide that what makes you more happy and what you love.
Right.
If you love, and what is your main goal? Is your goal to basically, is to boost your heart health, or is to boost your mental or brain health, or is to boost your muscle health? Then you do the exercise of those kind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you are more concerned about the muscle, then do resistance training. If you are more concerned about endurance and heart and weight loss, then you do the high intensity workout, aerobic workout.
Right.
But for every level, there is definitely an initial start. So start slow and then start
Mm-hmm.
loving it. And then once you have liked it, you start to build up on it.
Right. Right. Perfect.
Because
So,
when people exercise, that's like, how am I going to start loving it? When you exercise, you produce lactate. We know our muscles, they
mm-hmm.
have lactate. This lactate content, when it is more than 2, it's bad. We all say, okay, we worked out quite hard and we have a lot of lactate buildup, that's why my muscle is sore.
Mm-hmm.
But when this lactate is less than 2, it is actually an amazing thing. Why? I'll tell you. When you have this lactate act as a fuel for your brain cells, for your neurons, to be producing more BDNF. Okay? BDNF is brain-derived neurotropic factors. That means those serotonins, the feel happy
Mm-hmm.
hormones.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when people indulge in doing the workout or exercise, they are happy right after the
Yep.
session of their workout. They're all happy and excited and pumped up. That's
Yep.
because they have that elevated level of serotonins. And
Right.
also
Right.
this lactate, it has a capacity to increase the angiogenesis at the CSF, blood-brain barrier level. And when that happens, your brain cells get their fuel and they wire and fire with each other. With our brain cells, they
Right.
wire fire with each other, which is the intrinsic nature. But how does that wiring and firing help? Is that wiring and firing of brain cells constantly with each other is really good thing, because that reduces the neuroplasticity. And when you have less neuroplasticity, that means you will have more cognition, you will have more ability to learn, you'll have more ability to focus, and you'll have less chances of Alzheimer's or memory loss.
Sure. Sure. And, like Elle Wood says, people exercise makes you happy. Happy people don't kill their husbands, right? Like a classic line from Legally Blonde, when she was talking about, the woman who is accused of killing her husband. So there you go. Take it from Elle Woods. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we've got diet, sleep, exercise. You had mentioned before, um,
supplements.
Supplements. Yeah.
Yeah, just like I said, because whatever you cannot make out of the nutrition or the food that you get to eat, you'll have to make up for all those deficiencies of nutrients through supplementation. But it is very, very important that you literally, I mean, you read, you're aware what supplements, what brands you're consuming, because you're doing this to fill up the deficiencies and the gap. You're not doing this to basically bring more toxicity in your body. So go for high quality supplements, read about it, research about it, and then consume it. But among supplements, and like I said, it's a low hanging fruit. It's not a hurdle. It's just easy. Get it around you. The most important supplements are vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acids. I mean, there are many others which I consume because of the anti-aging reasons and clearing up of the toxins. I do consume glutathione, many other things, but on the basic level, when you're beginning, make sure that your vitamin D, magnesium, and omega-3 fatty acid levels are optimal. And then you go on to the advanced level. Like I do take glutathione for detoxification reason. I do take glycine and N-acetylcysteine. I also do take lutein and zeaxanthin, which are the antioxidant for eye health. And then I also do take CoQ10, which is the antioxidant for heart health. But very first thing first is those three basic supplements, vitamin D, because in US, almost 70% of the population is deficient in vitamin D. And the reason why? Because long back, I mean, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, people never had these diseases like cancer, cardiovascular disease, or Alzheimer's, and all those kind of, diseases because people were always walking outside in sun. They were not sitting inside in front of the technology, computer, laptop, this and that. People were always outside trying to gather their food, doing hunting, present in sun, and walking all the time, doing agriculture, doing farming. But nowadays, we are all mostly inside, and when we are outside, we have the SPF lather on us. So, I mean, I'm not opposing SPF. Definitely, we need to have SPF in order to save ourselves from the bad UV and UVB radiation for the skin health. But I mean, those are the different reasons that we are not exposed to the sun as much as we used to be. And how vitamin D is produced. Vitamin D is produced when your sun rays, actually, your skin get exposed to the sun rays. So that's why we all are deficient in vitamin D. Vitamin D deficiency, when I say, so titer less than 30 is called insufficient vitamin D level. We need to try to bring it to up to 80, 90 is even better. Like, and so what can you do? Just do this one. Get exposed to this little bit of sun, but the very first thing in the morning. I mean, anything. I mean, if you're going for a walk in sun, just do that around 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and around before 10 a.m., and then after 4 p.m., because that's the time when you are not really exposed to the bad radiations of the sun. Plus, consume this vitamin D supplementation, high quality ones, and the upper limit of the upper safe limit is around 4,000 IU international unit. But I always tell my clients, it's always advisable before taking the supplementation, get your testing done, get your blood testing.
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah.
Because, who knows, like one client of mine is deficient and she has the level of 20. The other one, she has the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency, but her level is already 50. So I might tell the patient who has level 30 to take 4,000 IU or 5,000 IU in a day. But like for myself, I've been doing that for quite some time. I'm already to the level 60. So for me, 1,000 international unit is good enough, on a maintenance level. I don't need to take 4,000 or 5,000 international unit. So get your testing before starting any supplementation. That's the real global advice. And get your testing 3 months after any supplementation, because you need that 3 month time period in order to see the effect of supplements.
Makes sense.
Totally do that. And then second one is magnesium. Very, very important, because magnesium is, again, in US, 50% of the population is deficient in magnesium. Right? And the RDA recommends 400 milligram of magnesium every day. But as for my personal level and my personal experience and education, if a person is athletic or goes to sauna a lot, they even need more than the RDA because they lose a lot of magnesium in their sweat. So they need to consume more than the daily recommended dose by RDA. So magnesium, why is it so important? I think it is one of the most important because magnesium is basically a mineral. Okay, it's a micronutrient. It's a cofactor for 300 enzymatic activities in the body. And why are all these enzymatic activities so important? Just like we had discussed, our cells are constantly functioning, dividing. So when cells function, they divide. The DNA divide as well. The DNA replicate as well. So DNA is synthesized as well as old DNA is repaired. So repair and synthesis is going on, which is a very important function of the cell. So DNA repair, DNA synthesis, and for that, there's a very important enzyme called DNA polymerase, right? So that's the utmost important enzyme. And then also another enzyme, which is for detoxification, and that enzyme is called glutathione transferase. So, and these are just two examples that I said and mentioned here, but there are many other. There are almost like 300 other enzymes that are constantly functioning for this enzymatic activity for their for them to be functioning properly. They need this cofactor that is magnesium. So it's utmost important for yourself to provide your body with the appropriate amount of magnesium that's needed in the body.
Cool.
And this magnesium is basically present in all the dark green leafy vegetables. Because how is magnesium produced basically? So magnesium is produced from the chlorophyll molecule of very, very dark leaf greens. All right. So it is highly present in spinach, kale, and then it's also present in almonds and also in dark chocolate. So all those are quite rich in magnesium, but I think still we all don't consume as much greens as we all should be, right? So I think it's always important to supplement ourselves with magnesium.
Nice. And then the last one was the omega fatty acids.
Omega-3 fatty acids.
Yeah. Yes. Is this the same as taking like a fish oil tablet?
Yes. So omega-3 fatty acid is same as taking fish oil. This omega-3 fatty acid is utmost important. And, it's a micronutrient which has been understudied and overlooked in our medical and in our scientific world. But it's a very, very important micronutrient. It's mainly present in the marine sources, like all this fatty, like these fishes and other marine sources. And there are two forms of omega-3. One is called EPA, and the second one is called DHA. There's third also that is called ALA, and that is more like a plant source, but that's minimal. But EPA and DHA are very, very important. EPA is important for your heart health. DHA is very important to boost your brain health.
Right.
These two are present in a high quantity and quality in the marine sources, of like fish and all this kind of seafood. So if you can consume good amount of marine source of seafood and fish, oyster, that's perfectly fine. But if you cannot make up for that, the amount that you should be consuming in a day, then definitely I recommend taking 1.5 to 2 grams of fish oil or omega-3, but a high quality. Make sure the quality is high because because they contain fish oil, and that is prone to oxidation. So just like I said, don't consume the fish oil which is already oxidized or prone to oxidation, because then you're causing more harm to your body rather than any good. So just check the source and how it was manufactured and in what kind of environment it is manufactured. But definitely consume 1.5 to 2 grams per day, because in US our, optimally our omega-3 index should be around 8%. But in
Okay.
US, most of the population is 4%. So almost
Half. Yeah.
most of the population, so we need to bring it to level 8% in order to basically have the most optimal content of omega-3 fatty acid.
Got it.
In Japan, like, when they studied, the omega-3 index is almost 10 to 12% because they do indulge in a lot of seafood eating and yeah, yeah.
Right. It's a blue zone.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
one of
The
those,
blues.
it's one of those blue zones. Well, this is great. And there's so much information here. And hopefully all you listeners out there are like listening intently and, you know, can then reach out to you, or they can reach out to their doctor. They can get some blood work done. They can see where they're at and see how maybe we can make some changes so that our biological age is less than our chronological age, which, I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? So then you can say like 30 is the new 50
Yeah.
because your biological age is less than your actual age. So this was great. And, as we start to kind of wrap things up, what and this is going to be hard to summarize, but if you can summarize what we spoke about today, what are the big takeaways you want the listeners to go away with?
To go away with,
Yeah.
improve your lifestyle, which is very easy. You just got to be motivated to do
Mhm.
something good for your health. Because I know that human nature is that once you know you got to do it, you can do it. But whatever you do, just do it seriously and consistently. Know all the information about your health and body and try to take the right judgment and the right decision to basically optimize as much as possible.
Yeah. And let's say they need a little help. They want to reach out to you. Where can they find you? How can people work with you?
They can find me on my website. There's a contact form. They can contact me through email. My website is livagewell.net. And people can also, look and see my social media handle, which is at the rate dr underscore mani mani dot kukreja, my last name, uh, dr underscore mani dot kukreja. And I'm very frankly available. If people have questions to ask about their health, you all can contact me.
Perfect. And just so everyone knows, we will have links directly to that. So whatever podcast platform you are listening on right now, if you go to the show notes, one click will take you to all of that info. All right. So last question. This is one that I ask everyone, and that's knowing where you are now in your life and in your career. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
Oh, you know, watch out for your diet and start moving. Don't be sedentary all the time in front of your cell phones. Try to avoid blue light exposure because this bright blue light is bad completely. It's bad. It's bad for your macula. It's bad for your retina. Try to stay away from it, as much as you can, and stay away from radiations of the sun. Apply sun protection, SPF, whenever you're out of the home. And if your house is full of glass windows, even then you get exposed to the sun radiation. So try to protect yourself and protect your skin by applying SPF. And go for mineral SPF, something that has zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, because that gives you a total protection.
Perfect. Well, great advice. And hopefully that's advice. So if there's any young people listening now, SPF, like every time people ask me what I do for my skin, I say I wear SPF every day, even in the winter. It doesn't, you don't only have to wear it in the summer. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm in New York City. You're sort of down south, but even in the winter, like I always wear SPF, and I am convinced that that is one of the main reasons why I have pretty okay skin for someone
You
my
have a
age.
you
It's
have a
the S
beautiful skin.
it's
Yeah.
the SPF, there's
You
no question.
definitely, there's no question because SPF is going to save your collagen, otherwise your
Yes.
collagen gets degraded. Yeah. So
Right, right. Oh my gosh. Well, we can go on forever here, but we won't. We will wrap things up here. So Dr. Manny, thank you so much for coming on. This was great. I may have to split this up into two podcasts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
I was glad to be here. It was my pleasure.
And everyone, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. Have a great couple of days and stay healthy, wealthy, and smart.